Hi, I'm Cam, marketing copywriter turned novel writer. I'm self-publishing my debut novel this year, and I'm documenting the whole process on this YouTube channel. Today, we're talking about something that every author needs: a website. So why do you need an author website? Why can't you just have a Facebook page or an account on Instagram or TikTok? Well, your author website is yours. If there is any changes in the algorithm in the future on your favorite social media platform, your website is not going to be affected. This is your place on the internet that you can shape the way you want. Creating a website early is going to help with your SEO. It's going to help you being found or come up in the first results when someone searches your name on Google. And that's definitely something you want. Your website is the one place where you put all the information about you. And this information is not changing. You don't update it every day like you would on your TikTok or Instagram. This is also a place where you can have more info that is there. It's not just like your bio page, again, on social media. And that's why it's so important that you have a proper author website when you're an author. So, what do you need on this author website? Well, you need 4 things, definitely. Then you can add more, whatever you want. But the first thing you need is your author page. You need information about yourself. This is where you're presenting yourself. See it not really as a CV, but more as a presentation of yourself that's going to be online for people who want to know more about you as an author. Then the second page that you definitely need on your website is the one about your book or your books if you have more than one. You don't need to wait for your debut novel or your first book to be out to have your author website. You should definitely have the website first before the big launch so you can announce your book on that website. The third thing that you definitely need is a contact page. You do need a contact page because your website is where people would go to try and find you and find ways to contact you. And then the last but not least thing, it's not a page, it's links. Links to your social media platform, links to your YouTube video, links to your retailers if you're not selling your book directly on your website, but you are selling it on Amazon, on another platform. If your book is out, you want a link so people on your website can, in a couple of clicks, buy your book. This is absolutely essential. If you have a newsletter, you definitely also want to have it on your website. If you're using Substack, you might not need a website, but for any other professional newsletter services, you will need to have a website. The first thing you're going to need to build your author website is a domain name. So it can be your name or a variation of your name. In my case, it's simply camlemblin.com, but it could have been camlemblinauthor.com or cam.lemblin. I think it's easier to avoid punctuation or hyphens. But you might want to differentiate yourself if your author name is quite similar to an existing famous person who has this name. If you're using a pen name, I would definitely recommend, before you get attached to it, that you check that no one else is using it and that the domain name is available. Because you might think of a really cool name that you really want to use as your author name, and then you realize that a brand somewhere is already using this name and the domain name is already registered. So as soon as you think of a pen name, make sure that the domain name is available and buy it. Buying a domain name is not very expensive. I think I paid about £10 for mine for a year. You need to renew it though. At first it's quite cheap, but you definitely need to renew it if you want to keep the ownership of that URL. You don't need to break the bank to have a great website. Of course, it might be tempting, especially if you don't know much about building website, to hire a professional or to pay for extra services. But to be honest, your website, when you're starting, is just a tool that will mainly be used for SEO or for gathering all your links and information in one place. If you follow online tutorials, if you find some videos on YouTube, you should be able to create it yourself, like I did. And trust me, I really don't know much about building websites. I personally didn't use AI for my websites, mainly because the AI options when building websites are not for the complicated technical things. The AI is for design or even worse for writing your website copy. But if you're an author, you can write. You don't need AI to do it for you. I also think that AI generated website can be very generic. So if you want to have a bit of personality, it's probably best that you use your words on your author website. How did I create my website? I used a company called Hostinger. They had a huge sale. So for the hosting of my website, I just signed up for 4 years with Hostinger for a little over £100. It was a great deal. So again, you don't have to spend thousands on a website. In my case, it was about £10 on the domain name and 115 for 4 years of hosting with Hostinger. I am using a WordPress website. I'm old school and I know WordPress because I've used it in the past. Again, if you know a tool or if you already have skills, use them. That's always useful. I'm not a designer and I am definitely not a developer. So I am building my website with a tool called Elementor. So I'm just moving blocks basically. It's not extremely flexible. There are some things that are not exactly the way I picture them, but it doesn't really matter because again, I love my website. It's definitely good enough. I want to focus on my book. That's the most important thing. So my recommendation are definitely to keep it simple, keep it cheap, use tutorials. There are so many videos, so many articles or online courses that you can find for free on the internet to help you build your website. Don't try to make things more complicated than they should be. I did it in the past. It cost me a lot of money. So definitely that's my biggest tip. Don't make it more complicated than it should be. You need a page about you as an author, a page about your book or your books when you're just getting started, a contact page, links to your social media and other platform, a sign-up form for your newsletter. And in the future, once your books are out, and if I do it, I will definitely make a video about it. I will show you how I will, in the future, turn my website into my own e-commerce platform so I can sell my books directly and make more profit than selling them through a retailer. Creating a website doesn't mean that people are going to come and see it straight away. It takes a while for traffic to build. It also takes a while for people to find it, or even for Google to find it. So if you want people to come and visit your website, you need to share the link. Share it on your social media accounts. Share it inside your book or in your newsletter, in your communication. Maybe have a QR code on your business cards or even inside your self-published book. Make sure that you share it. Otherwise, people are not just going to come on your website out of the blue. This is a misconception that is quite common. So make sure that you know building it doesn't mean that people are going to come. It's a little bit more complicated than that. One more thing before I conclude this video. Even if you don't need to add new content on your website every week like you would on a YouTube channel or on social media, you still need to make sure you update your website regularly. Once you create it, you can't just leave it. Make sure you update it. You update your plugins, you update your theme. If you're using WordPress like me, just click on it once a week and make sure you click on update. Don't abandon it. Thank you for watching this video. Please feel free to like and subscribe, share it with your friends, and most importantly, if you do have an author website that you want to share, put it in the comment. This is mine. I will also put it in the description. Let me know what you think. I would love to have some feedback, and I'll see you next Monday for another video. Bye!